Recording in progress.
Very good morning, very good evening to you all. Jai Shri Krishna Gurudi. Welcome to the Devi Mahatamyam Parayan. Wishing you all a very happy Navratri. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Shri Saraswatai Namaha, Om Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha, Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo, Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Today we'll be beginning with the second episode, which is meditation on Mahalakshmi. Before that, yesterday we did a very important lesson, that is the episode 1, and in that I told you all that I will be revealing who these two demons are, which is Madhu and Kaitaba. Now, yesterday, if you listen to the story very carefully, let me just do a quick recap. The Madhu and Kaitaba came out of Lord's ears. Who are they and what are they? Let us understand, okay? Now, what does Brahmaji say? One second, give me a quick moment. So, the two terrible asuras, the famed Madhu and Kaitaba, came into being out of the earwax of Vishnu and sought to kill Brahma. Now Brahma got very scared and then he prayed to, who did he pray? He was very, very scared. So he praised Yoga Nidra, abiding in the eyes of Hari with concentration in the heart. Then the goddess comes and then what happens? Then Vishnu Bhagwan is awakened from his sleep, that is the Yoga Nidra. And now first let us understand who this Madhu and Kaitaba are. Why should the Lord take 5,000 years to slay them? And then what do they also say? In the end, they are saying, intoxicated with their excessive power, deluded by Mahamaya, they told Vishnu, choose a boon from us. And then what does the Lord say? May you too be slain by me. If you are pleased with me, what other boon is there to ask? This much I have chosen. And then the Lord kill us where the earth is not inundated with water. This is what the demons say. So they put a condition where they need to be killed. So this is a quick recap. Now first let us understand. So who is Madhu? Madhu is the illusion, which is what is heard by us. And see, understand, the Madhu and Kaitaba came out from where? Lord's earwax. Now what happens in our world, we like to hear all the sweet things about us. People praising us, people talking nice about us, people, making us feel mighty great. When they praise you, you just become so powerful, your ego bloats. You feel so good and you think no end of yourself. This happens, correct? And most important, what does it happen? When they are like the sweet talkers, they like all the sweet things. If they need something from you, they will start praising and you will fall for it. And you will want to then go and do things out of the way for them, isn't it? And then also you need to understand what you hear is not always the truth. People are just saying something to you. Do they actually mean it? This is something you need to understand. But we go and fall in for this illusion. It is called the elusive power. What is this illusion all about? When somebody is praising you, do you think they really mean it? Not at all. Sometimes they might mean. I'm not saying that everybody is going to praise you just for the heck of it. Not necessary. They will even praise you. They will genuinely mean. But how many people do actually praise you for really, for who you really are, or they mean the praise? Not everybody. So this illusion is what is heard by you. When somebody says nice things, you get mighty pleased. And most important, what you hear. So who is hearing? You're hearing it. And there is one other being who is interpreting it. And who is that? Your mind. Your mind is interpreting what they are saying. But do you actually see the truth in that? Of course not. You go at a face value, right? You take whatever the people say at a face value. But that is not truth. That is why you have to understand, you have to see through beyond that illusion. But what happens to a human being, they get carried away with that words. You know why? Because the perception we have. Remember, we were doing this beautiful lesson even in Bhagavad Gita and Tripura Rahasyam. When the senses, when your ear is listening, the senses come into contact with the sense object. So your ear is listening, you're hearing. And then what happens? Your mind is interpreting it. And when your mind interprets, it is not going to interpret what is being told. It is going to interpret based on what it wants to tell you. Now in this, where is the truth? Do you actually understand what the other person is saying? Absolutely not. Correct? Because it is your interpretation. So every time when the mind is giving you an interpretation, please understand that interpretation is not correct. Because if you tend to get elated and mighty pleased, somebody is praising you, you're getting mighty pleased, which means the mind has interpreted, oh, it's feeling nice, because it is only to its liking. Then what happens? That illusion comes in you. So, and the way in the mind shows you, like, okay, how everybody is thinking about you. Now, example I'll give you. See, most important, when you meet someone, we always think about them to be one thing, but in reality, when they behave in a certain manner, when they talk something, or their actions don't match with what they speak, then you are delusional. Okay, you'll wonder, why is this person behaving like this? But what you don't seem to understand is that is the person's inherent nature. That is how the person is meant to be. But what is not matching is your expectations about that person. Because your mind has believed, you have perceived that person to be in a certain way. Now, when the perception is strong, your belief, what is the word I'm using here? It is your belief which creates that object to appear in front of you in a certain way. So that is the demon. So Madhu, please understand, never fall for anybody praising you. Never go in for sweet talkers, because that is called the deception. And that is the illusion which is created in you. And also let us understand, why should a lord, he's fighting with this demon for 5,000 years. Do you understand? The inner voice of the divine is unheard by you. Why? Because your mind your ears are covered with this demon, and you're not listening to the inner voice, which is always showing you the truth. It is telling you, look at this, that first voice, that little voice within us, which is always guiding us on the right path. It is showing you the truth, but we get covered, we get lost. You know why? We are deaf ears to it. And who's covering that? Madhu. And next is Kaitaba. Now, Kaitaba is what? The Kaitaba is, I will not hear the truth. Because even after the divinity within you, that little voice telling you, don't fall for this, don't do this, don't do this. You don't listen to the truth at all. Your mind is so strong. You listen to the voice of the mind, but not to the divine being within you. This is the truth. So, the divine Lord, despite telling you so many times, that voice is telling you, don't go do this, don't get angry, don't behave like this. So many things the voice is telling you. Yet, you can't listen, because who's covering? Madhu and Kaitaba. They will not allow you to listen to the voice of the divine Lord. The truth is not heard by you at all. So what is it? One who does not allow to listen to the voice of God is Kaitab. And Madhu is, he's constantly keeping you in that illusion, making you believe everything that your mind is saying is the truth. Now let me give you a very interesting context to this. In the spiritual world, now I'm going to discuss the spiritual aspect of it. Now in the spiritual world, when you have your guru and you're a disciple, now the Gurudev, or your Gurudev is always going to teach you the right things. When you initially come to him, he's telling you certain things, the do's, the don'ts, and he's going to instruct you. So when he's giving you the instructions, he's telling you, please don't do this. Please do this. And even when he's teaching you, your mind comes very strongly. You're deaf ears to him. You actually don't want to listen to anything your Gurudev is teaching because it is instigating you against him, saying that, no, this is not correct. This is not how it is. I don't want to listen. I don't want to listen. I know everything. We go with this, I know, I am great, I know all of this. Why is he telling me? He's telling me to do something I don't like. Constantly it goes on in your mind because this demon is very strong. And the worst part is, what happens? If you listen to the voice of your mind and not listen to your Gurudev, the voice of the God, which is a Vishnu Bhagwan, just an example here, what happens is that you are actually giving the form. The form is growing within you. Remember yesterday we said, give the form. Remember we did this? I'll just quickly read it out to you. What are we doing here? So here we are making that form become very strong. What are we? Give the form, give the victory, give the fame, kill the enemies. Now, who are you making the form become stronger in you? The demon. You're giving the power to the demon. And the demon is rising within you. Because you are empowering it. Give the form. That form is becoming stronger within you because you are not listening. And then what happens? Now the illusion is, so when your Gurudev tells you something, if you listen to it and then follow without questioning him, I'm not saying not to question him on the spiritual subjects, but when he's giving you an instruction in your life to change certain things, it is very important to listen to the instructions of the Guru. And most important, his teachings and practicing that in your life. See, he's not your enemy. On the contrary, he's the only friend. Let me put it like this. He's the only friend in this universe to everyone. And most important, he's your well-wisher. He cares about you. He wants you, he doesn't want you to suffer for your karma. He's there to cushion your karma. And most important, what does the Guru do? He can rewrite your destiny. The story can be rewritten provided you listen to him. Provided you follow his instructions to the T. Understand, your Guru always cares about your well-being. This is one thing which we don't understand because we're so lost in listening to this mind, the Madhu and Kaitaba, because they're telling you all the nice things. You know why? Let me also tell you, you want to live in that comfort zone. When you meet the Guru, he removes you out of your comfort zone. He brings change in your life and you don't like it. You want to oppose that. So what happens? I don't want to do. I don't like this. So your mind creeps in quietly. So then you'll go to your Gurudev and ask, can I do this later? Can I take a little leeway? Can I take one more year? All the questions will come. So who's doing this? This culprit is this demon. Please understand, recognize this demon within you and don't give that power. Don't give the form. Don't let the form to grow. Then what you're doing is, instead of the divine rising in you, you're giving rise to the demon, the form. And that is why you fall down. 99.99% of people in the spiritual world don't evolve because of this one limitation that they have. They fall down. You know why? Because you're not following the instructions of your Gurudev. You're not doing exactly what he's asking you to do. See, the only way to kill the demons is, it's not, when I say kill the demons, it is not physically you're going to kill anybody. No, it is about overcoming them inside of you. You don't give them that power. Do you understand what I'm saying? The truth is, you have to destroy them within. So you are making victorious. What are we saying here? We are saying, just 1 minute. We are telling, what are we saying? Give the form, give the victory, give the fame, and then kill the enemies. But whose enemy is getting killed? You're giving the form. The demon is becoming very powerful. See, isn't it? Even Vishnu Bhagwan has to fight this demon for 5,000 years. And he's become very powerful. And please understand, where did the demons come from? They actually came from the earwax of the Lord Vishnu Bhagwan. Isn't that something very strange? Absolutely. So they are very powerful. Please understand, there are no doubts about it. But the only way that you can kill them, when you follow the instructions of your Gurudev. It is very important. Why are these spiritual scriptures important to understand? Is because this is going to teach you. See, when we say spiritual, we are not talking about becoming an ascetic. We are not talking about going and doing pujas in the temple. We are talking about understanding the divinity who truly I am and unraveling the hidden potencies, the powers. These Shaktis, the goddesses whom we are going to learn about, they are the power potencies within us. Now these power potencies enable us to kill this demon. Now these two demons, I gave an understanding. One is Madhu and one is Kaitab. So what happens when you do not listen to the instructions of your Gurudev or of the voice of the God? What happens then? Complacency sets in, which means Madhu becomes very complacent. Oh yes, I'm going to be like this. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to continue doing what I know it better. And then you keep falling for the sweet talks in this world. And also please understand, whenever somebody is talking sweetly, don't fall for that. You know what is one rule in spirituality that we have been taught in Bhagavad Gita? Krishna Bhagavan uses these words. It is called equanimity of mind. Overcoming the pairs of opposites. So the first thing which we are taught is not to have likes and dislikes, love, hate, the pairs of opposites in our world. Why is it so important? Because then you will focus on not getting swayed by either good or bad, happy, sad, none of these. These are all unreal. So you need to understand. So that is the elusive power of the Lord. Why don't you realize this is something you need to understand? This is called the illusion, which makes you believe, yes, I am right. That illusion is what you hear constantly and it keeps you deluded. You're always in the delusional state. Why? Because you believe that is the truth. You're not even willing to listen to the truth. So then Kaitab and Madhu work hand in glove. And what do? Kaitab says, I don't want to listen. I know. I'm not going to listen. So I will not hear the truth. Whenever your Gurudev says something, do you think so easily you would accept everything? No, you don't accept. We try to question, why is this? We try to reason and we go into that mind, dwelling on that subject. What happens? Why should this happen? And what is another very important thing? The imagination creates havoc in your life. And most important, it shows you different pictures. See, these are all imaginations which is in your mind. But in reality, that is not the truth. So you again fall prey to those imaginations. And who is doing this? Your mind creates all of this. So you have to recognize how to not fall for this and control your mind. And that is why we say you have to listen to that inner voice. See, we have two aspects. I'm not saying everybody is on the path of spirituality and everybody is learning a scripture. I'm not saying that. But most important, even if you don't have a guru or whatever, please understand there is an inner voice which will always tell you the first thought comes. That is the voice of the God. But anything following that, then it is the mind. The demon takes over. Your mind takes over and you're only going to listen to your mind. So don't do that. Do not allow your mind to talk. That is why in spirituality, we are asked to keep quiet. Means silence. Practice silence. What does silence mean? It is not talking. It is the silencing of your mind. Shut your mind and shut your mouth. Means you have to constantly practice silence. Silence your mind. Don't let the thoughts haunt you. Most important. What is important? Do not allow yourself to get carried away and dwell in those thoughts. Because you're not going to go anywhere. On the contrary, it will overwhelm you. It's going to create more and more illusion in your life. So this is what is Madhu and Kaitab. And please understand, they are very difficult to fight. Initially when you meet the Guru has to, constantly keep telling you the same thing over and over and over again, because the Madhu and Kaitab in you are not allowing you to listen to his words. And you're constantly listening to that demon. You're giving it the power instead of giving the power to the God to kill the enemies within you. But what are you doing? You make them great. You're giving them the fame. They become very strong. And now next, another example also. Let me tell you. In the material world, see, if you fear something, what are you doing? You're actually making that fear give the form. You're making the demon rise in you. The fear is growing in you. You're not killing that fear. You're giving it a form. You're making that fear become famous, and you're making the fear victorious. How? When your Gurudev says, please don't do this, and then you think, oh, what is going to happen? I might not have a job. I have to come back to India, and then I have to do this, I have to do that. It's going to be a lot of difficulty in my life. Anything for that matter. The first thing that comes in a human being is the fear. What if I lose my job? My family will suffer. I might not have the money. We have these uncertainties in life. And this thing gives rise to that fear. But when you have the grace of the God, what is there to fear? Doesn't Sai Baba beautifully say, why fear when I am here? When you have the faith in the divine Lord and the faith in yourself, these divinities are all within you. When you have the faith in the divine Lord, where is the question of fear? The question of fear doesn't come. So it is very important for you to understand, okay? So don't worry about it. Now, we will go in that deeper in the chapter 2 and 3. But first, understand this Madhu and Kaitaba will not allow you to listen to the words of your Gurudev. So I hope this is clear. Then what it tells, I will not listen to anybody even if the truth is being told. That is what these demons do. That is where the first thing. Then the only way of overcoming these demons is to listening to your words of your Guru, to listening to that inner voice within you, the God. And that is the only way you can kill. And that is called the power of discrimination, to understand what is real and unreal. This is what we teach, what is being learned in all the scriptures. Now let us start with the second episode. The second episode, meditation on Mahalakshmi. Wielding in her hands the string of beads, battle axe, mace, arrow, thunderbolt, lotus, bow, water pot, cudgel, lance, sword, shield, conch, bell, wine cup, trident, noose and the discus, Sudarshana. She has a complexion of coral and is seated on a lotus. I worship here that Mahalakshmi, the vanquisher of the Asura, Mahisha. So, Om Rim, the sage said, long ago, when Mahisha was the lord of the Asuras and Indra of the gods, there was a war between the gods and the Asuras for a full 100 years. In that way, the army of the gods was vanquished by Asuras of great valor. Having conquered all the gods, Mahishasura became Indra. Now please underline this. Who became Indra? Mahishasura became Indra. Then the vanquished gods, led by Brahma, the lotus born, the lords of beings, went to the place where were Shiva and the Garuda bannered god. The god narrated to both of them the activities of Mahishasura and the details of insults heaped upon the gods, just as they happened. He himself now wields the authority of the sun, Indra, the fire, the wind, the moon, Yama, Varuna, and of other gods. Now what happens? Mahishasura has taken the throne of Lord Indra, and now he wields. So when Mahishasura becomes the king of gods, what happens? He wields the authority of controlling all the other gods under him. That is the sun, Indra, the fire, the wind, the moon, Yama, Varuna, and of other gods. The entire hosts of gods, expelled by the wicked Mahisha from heaven, wander across the earth, as mortals do. We have narrated in full the deeds of the enemies of gods. We seek refuge in you. Pray, think about slaying him. Thus, having heard the words of the gods, the slayer of Madhu got angry, and so also Shiva, their faces frowning with knit eyebrows. Then, from the face of the wielder of discus, which was brimming with fury, and from the faces of Brahma and Shankara, a great effulgence emerged. From the bodies of other gods, like Indra, a great effulgence emerged as well, and it all became a united mass. The gods saw there a lofty peak of effulgence looking like a blazing volcano, pervading the quarters with its flames. Born out of the bodies of all the gods, that unique effulgence, combined into one mass of light, took the form of a woman, pervading the triple worlds with its luster. In that effulgence, what was the light of Shiva, from that was formed the face. The tresses were formed from the light of Yama, and the arms from the light of Vishnu. The two breasts were formed from the light of the moon, the middle portion from the light of Indra, the legs and thighs from the light of Varuna, and the hips from the light of the earth. The feet from the light of Brahma, and its fingers from the sun's light, the fingers of the hand from that of Vasus, and the nose from the light of Kubera. Her teeth were formed from the light of Prajapati, the Lord of beings. Likewise, the triad of her eyes were born from the light of fire. The eyebrows from the two Sandhyas, her ears from the light of the wind, from the light of other gods as well. The auspicious goddess was formed. Then on seeing her born out of the lights heaped up from all the gods, the immortals, afflicted by Mahisha, became happy. Then the gods gave individually to her their respective weapons. The wielder of Pinaka gave to her the trident, drawing it out of his trident. Now what are the gods doing? They're giving their weapons. Every god is giving his own weapon to this goddess. The dark god also gave the discus, whirling it forth from his own discus. Varuna gave her the conch, Agni the lance. Vayu gave her a bow and a pair of quivers filled with arrows. Indra, the thousand-eyed lord of the gods, gave her the thunderbolt, taking it out of his thunderbolt, and the bell from his elephant, Airavat. Yama gave a cudgel out of his cudgel of death, and the lord of waters the noose. Brahma, the lord of beings, gave her the rosary of beads and the water pot. Surya placed his own rays on all the pores of her skin. Kala gave her a sword and a spotless shield. The milky ocean gave her an unsullied garment, a pair of unaging garments, a brilliant crest jewel, a pair of ear pendants, bangles, a luminous half-moon ornament, bracelets in all arms, a pair of shining anklets, likewise a unique necklace and bejeweled rings on all fingers. Vishwakarma gave her a brilliant axe, missiles of various forms, as well as an unbreakable armor. The ocean gave her an unfading lotus garland to wear on the head, another one to wear on the breast, and a very beautiful lotus to be held in her hand. Himavan gave her the lion as the vehicle and various gems. The Lord of Wealth gave her a drinking cup always full of wine. The king of all serpents, Shesha, who bears this world, gave her a snake garland bedecked with her huge jewels. Honored with ornaments and weapons by the other remaining gods as well, the goddess roared with loud laughter again and again. The entire sky was filled up with her immeasurable, stupendous, terrible roar, and great was the echo that arose. All the worlds were agitated and the oceans raged. The earth quaked and all the mountains rocked. Victory to thee, exclaimed the gods in joy to her. Mounted on the lion, and the sages lauded her, their bodies bowed in devotion. Seeing the entire triple world agitated, the enemies of the immortals marshaled all their forces and rose up with weapons uplifted. Ah, what is this? Exclaimed Mahishasura. It's in wrath and rushed towards the sound, surrounded by all the asuras. Then he saw the goddess pervading the three worlds with her effulgence. The tread of her feet bent the earth low. The top of her crown scraped the welkin high. With the twang of her bowstring, she shook the entire netherworld, and with 1,000 arms, she stood covering all the quarters. Then began the battle between the goddess and the enemies of gods. Where the quarters were illumined by various arrows and missiles thrown at each other, the general of Mahishasura, a great Asura, Chikshura by name, and Chamara fought with the opponents equipped with a fourfold complement of forces. A great Asura, Udagra by name, with 60,000 chariots, and Mahahanu with a crore waged the battle. The great Asiloma fought in that battle with 150 lakhs, while Bhaskala fought with 60 lakhs of chariots. Parivarita, surrounded by many thousands of elephants and horses and crores of chariots, fought in that battle. One named Bidala fought in that battle, surrounded by 500 crores of chariots. Other great Asuras, tens of thousands in number, encircled by elephants and horses, fought in the war front with the goddess. In that battle, Mahishasura stood encircled by crores and crores of chariots, elephants, and horses, with iron maces, javelins, with lances and pistols, with swords, battle axes, and halberds. They fought with the goddess in the fronts. Some hurled lances, some others threw nooses. They began to attack the goddess by striking her with swords. The goddess Chandika also quite playfully cut into pieces those arrows and missiles by pouring on them her own arrows and missiles. So there is a great war going between the goddess and the Asuras. So I'm not going to explain what this is and who this is. I will finish both the chapters and give you the explanation. Praised by the gods and the sages, the goddess Ishwari, showing no fatigue in her face, cast arrows and missiles on the bodies of Asuras. And the lion also, the mount of Devi, shook its mane in fury and roamed amidst the armies of the Asuras like fire in the forest. The sighs that the mother fighting on the battlefront heaved became immediately her hosts in hundreds and thousands. Aggrandized by the force of the goddess, these hosts fought, destroying the hosts of Asuras with battle axes, javelins, swords, and halberds. In that festival of war, some of the hosts beat the drums, some blew conches, and others played on mridangas. Then the goddess killed the great Asuras in hundreds by means of trident, mace, lance, double-edged swords, and ordinary swords. She felled certain Asuras to the ground by making them stunned with the sound of her bell. Certain others she dragged along the ground by binding them with the noose. Some were split into two by the severe fall of swords. Others smashed by the blow of a mace were laid on the ground. Severely struck by the pestle, some vomited blood, rent by the trident in the chest. Some were felled on the ground. In the battlefield, some of those who afflicted the gods were caught in a flood of arrows, leaving no space in their bodies unstruck. Resembling porcupines, they breathed their last. Some had their arms cut, some others their necks. Heads of some fell on the ground, and others were rent asunder in the middle. Some other great Asuras, their legs cut off, fell on the ground. Some rendered one-armed, one-eyed, and one-legged were again rent into two by the goddess. A few, their heads cut off, fell and rose again. Others danced in the battlefield, in tune with the battle drums. The trunks of other great Asuras, with swords, lances, and double-edged swords still in their hands, their heads just cut off, shouted at the goddess, "Stop, stop." The place on the earth where the great battle took place became impassable on account of the chariots, elephants, horses, and Asuras fell on ground. Streams of blood from the Asuras, elephants, and horses became in no time huge rivers and flowed amidst the army of the Asuras. Thus, the mother in a moment's time led to the destruction the great army of the Asuras, just as fire would a huge stalk of wood and grass. That lion also, shaking its mane and making a terrible roar, prowled about, searching as it were the life breaths in the bodies of the enemies of the immortals. The goddess with her hosts fought with the Asuras in such a manner that the gods were pleased and showered flowers from heaven. Here ends the second of Devi Mahatamyam in Markandeya Purana during the period of Shavarni, the Manu. Now let me continue the third chapter, and after that is when I will give you the explanation of what this battle is all about and who these demons are within us. Third chapter, the sage said, seeing that army being slain, the great Asura, Chikshura, the commander-in-chief, proceeded in anger to fight the mother. The Asura rained showers of arrows on the goddess in battle, just as a cloud would pour in showers of rain on the peak of the Meru mountain. Then the goddess, playfully cutting asunder the volley of arrows, killed his horses and their driver with her arrows. Immediately, she broke his bow and his banner flying aloft, and with swift shafts struck in the limbs of him whose bow had been broken. His bow broken, his chariot smashed, his horse killed, and his charioteer slain. The Asura, wielding a sword and a shield, jumped at the goddess. With terrific speed, he struck the lion on the head with a sharp-edged sword and hit the goddess on her left arm. O delight of kings! The sword, the moment it touched her arm, broke in 2 pieces. Red in the eyes with anger, he took the spear. The great Asura hurled the weapon, resplendent with luster, at Bhadrakali, as though he was hurling the orb of the sun from the skies. Seeing the spear coming upon her, the goddess released her spear. It broke his spear into 100 pieces, as well as the great Asura. When that general of Mahisha, of great valor, was slain, Chamara, the afflicter of the gods, came forward mounted on an elephant. He hurled his lance at the Devi, and the mother immediately, with a grunt, made it fall to the ground lusterless. Seeing his lance broken and fallen, Chamara, filled with anger, hurled the spear. She broke it as well with her arrows. Then the lion leaped upwards, seated itself between the temples of the elephant, and engaged itself in a hand-to-hand fight with that enemy of gods. In the course of fighting, they came down from the elephant to the ground and fought quite excited, dealing each other terrible blows. Then the foe of beasts leaped to the sky with force, and from there sprang on Chamara, severing his head with a blow of its paw. Udagra was killed in battle of the Devi by means of rocks, trees, and the like. Karala was brought down by biting with her teeth, hitting with her fist, and slapping with her palm. The Devi in wrath pulverized Udhata with strokes of her mace. She slew Baskala with a javelin, Tamara and Adaka with arrows. The great goddess, possessed of 3 eyes, smote and slew Ugrasya, Ugravira, Virya, and Mahahanu with her trident. By her sword, she made the head of Bidala fall from his body and sent Durdhara and Durmukha to the abode of death by her arrows. Seeing his own army being demolished thus, Mahishasura terrified the hosts of the Devi with his buffalo form. So now comes the great Asura, Mahishasura. And what is the form here? Buffalo form. Don't forget. Hitting by the muzzle some, trampling by the hooves some others, lashing by his tail some, tearing by his horns some others, with sheer speed some, with bellowing and whirling about some others, and with the blast of his breath the rest, he laid the hosts on the ground. After laying low the hosts of Pramatas, that Asura leaped to slay the lion of the great goddess. Seeing this, the mother became angry. He too, of great valor, pounded the terrain with his hoofs in rage, threw about the mountains with his horns, and roared. Crushed by his whirling speed, the earth crumbled to pieces. Lashed by his tail, the ocean flooded everywhere. Broken by his moving horns, the clouds went into pieces. His heavying breath lifted up mountains in the sky and brought them down. Seeing the great Asura bloated with rage, advancing towards her, she, Chandika, assumed an angry mood in order to kill him. She threw the noose over the great Asura and bound him. Thus, bound in the great battle, he left off his buffalo form. Then immediately he became a lion. Very important. What did he become? He became a lion. No sooner The mother cut the head off. Then a man appeared with a sword in hand. Now, what is the demon doing? He's taking different forms. From a buffalo, he became a lion. From the lion, he's taken the form of a man with a sword. Remember all of this. Huh? I'm going to give you an explanation who these demons are once we finish. Soon the goddess cut the man asunder along with his sword and shield by means of her arrows. Then he became a huge elephant. So now who has he become? He became a huge elephant. The elephant pulled the lion with its trunk and rode. As it pulled, the goddess cut off the trunk with her sword. The great Asura resumed the body of a buffalo once again. So he went into the original form of a buffalo and shook the three worlds along with their mobile and immobile things. Engaged at this, Chandika, the mother of the worlds, had again and again a superb drink and laughed, her eyes becoming red. The Asura, too intoxicated with his strength and valor, roared and threw mountains at Chandika with his horns. She, with a volley of arrows, reduced to powder those that were hurled at her, and said to him, her words flattering and color mounting up her face due to the intoxication of the drinks. The goddess said, "Roar, roar, O fool, for a moment till I drink this wine. Soon the gods are going to roar here when you are slain by me." Look at her confidence, that she is definitely going to slay him. The sages said, exclaiming thus, she jumped and climbed on the great Asura, crushing his neck. Under her foot, she hit him with the trident. Then, crushed by her foot, he was able to emerge only as half of his self from his own mouth, overpowered by the valor of the goddess. Continuing to fight as half of his self, the great Asura was beheaded by the goddess with a sword and slain. Then, crying in consternation, the entire army of Asuras perished, and the entire host of gods derived immense delight. The gods, along with the divine seers, lauded the goddess. The Gandharva kings sang, and the hosts of Apsaras danced. Here ends the third of Devi Mahatamyam in Markandeya Purana during the period of Savarni, the Manu. So now let me begin with the explanation. Who are these demons? Mahishasura. What does he represent? What does Mahish mean? Buffalo form. So what does buffalo represent? We are in the age of Kali Yuga. So what is predominant? Tamas. And what does buffalo represent? Lethargy, inertia, laziness, indiscipline, and procrastination as well, you can say. Because when all of the inertia, the tamas comes in us, we procrastinate. We don't want to do. We don't want to rise. And most important, who has taken the throne, that is the throne of Indra? Mahishasura has become the king of the gods. And what does that mean now? When he becomes the king of gods, he is controlling everything in our being. So, our mind is ruled by tamas. The moment, you procrastinate, Guruji will say, please, forget about Guru. Guruji is one aspect, okay? That's a spiritual aspect I'm talking about. But even in the normal sense, in the material world, you will want to do something, okay? You have a timeline and you say, okay, today I must do this, today I must do that. But suddenly what happens, the Mahishasura seeps in you and says, it's okay, today you're very tired, you don't feel like doing it today. It's okay for you. Today you take rest. We can do it tomorrow. So what has come into existence? The moment inertia seeped in, laziness has seeped in, the lethargy has seeped in, procrastination has come about. So what are you going to do? Oh, we procrastinate. So mind says, okay, do it tomorrow. It's okay, fine. You're very tired today. You have done too much of work, great amount of work. So you need to take rest. You need to relax. And then this tomorrow comes in. The moment you procrastinate for a tomorrow, there is no tomorrow. And that tomorrow continues like this. So what happens? You have fallen down. And please understand, your mind is from the head to toe. This is not mind. This is brain. So your mind is from the head to toe. So who's ruling you? The Mahishasura is ruling you. because you have allowed him. He has taken the throne of Indradev. And now most important, here's a very interesting secret. Even the gods have to now become, what was said there? He was ruling the sun god, the Varun Dev, all other deities also, no, all other gods also, Mahishasura is ruling because he has become Indradev now. Now that means what? Even the gods have to obey him. So they are going to do everything wrong, no? Because he has become the king. Now who has allowed this? You have allowed this to happen. You have allowed him inside of you to become the king. Now who's ruling you? Your mind is ruled by Mahishasura. So understand, whenever you feel lazy, lethargy, completely a lack of energy, don't feel like doing anything. Understand the buffalo. Remember the buffalo demon, constantly remember. This is what has taken over. And then your entire head to toe, your body is not going to allow you to do anything at all. So why are we invoking this goddess? So that we can fight the demon within us. The demon is not outside. The demon is within us. You have to fight it within you. The Devi Mahatamyam is to understand the greatness of who you truly are. Become the Devi. Overcome these demons within you. Use the weapons. Use this knowledge to kill the demons within you. She is using different weapons. So first is, let us understand, how do we overcome the tamas? Most important. So you say, tomorrow morning, I am going to get up at 4:30 a.m. So you turn on the alarm, and then what happens? 4:30, the alarm rings. And then what happens? Snooze and go off to sleep. And then 4:30 is gone, 5 o'clock is gone, 5:30 is gone, 6 o'clock is also gone. So what have you done? You have not put that effort. See, this is a weapon. What does that weapon mean? Now the discipline. The Devi is you. Give that empowerment to yourself. Empower that goddess, that capability inside of you. So you have to wake up. You have to stick to the time. That is called discipline. This is one word missing in our world. Today, if you look at everybody, I don't think 99% of the people even know what is a sunrise is. Because we don't get up in the morning. People get up at whatever time they feel like. So tamas is ruling our world. Tamasic we have become. So what happens? Head to toe, the mind is ruling by who? All the asuras, that is the Mahishasura is ruling you, and plus all his subordinates, including the gods have to now obey him. Now what are you doing? If gods have to obey him, they are also going to work for him only, no? So he is going to say, oh, you go do this, you do this, you do this. So they are causing all the disturbance in your system because you have allowed this Mahishasura to rise, to take the throne. Now who is responsible for it? You. So let us go to the next one. So what happens? The moment from buffalo, what does he become? He takes a lion form. Then what happens? He's becoming a lion. See how he plays. You should understand the demons are quite powerful. Don't think less of them. They have almost the equal powers to God. So next is he becomes lion. Then you know what happens? Somebody tells you, please do this. Why are you not doing it? You know this very well. Somebody comes and tells us. Sometimes it could be a mentor, teacher, parents. Most importantly, the Gurudev will tell you, why don't you do this? The Guru will always teach you nicely. Don't become indisciplined. See, they're only going to tell you all the good stuff. But immediately the lion, what does the lion mean? Ego. I know, I have done it. Who's a lion? Lion is a representation of, he's a king of the jungle. So now in this case, the lion form, see, it's a demon. We are not talking about, see, the god also, the goddess is also on the lion, right? So that's not the way to look at. The lion has this ego. I know, I've done this. Why are you constantly telling me? Don't you all say this? Have you all not said this? If somebody is telling you something good, immediately you want to just bite that person off. Why? Because you don't want to be told. I know, don't tell me. This comes to us. That ego rises. This ego is not a right ego. It's like, it's wanting to show its pride. It wants to show its ego. I know. The moment you say, I know, the knowledge stops right there. You can't learn. So the foundation in spiritual world is, first is, what does your guru do? He first teaches you how to overcome this buffalo demon called tamas inertia, lethargy, laziness and everything, indiscipline within us. Then he removes this thing called ego. He destroys this ego. I know. You don't know because you have never learnt in your life that whatever the little knowledge you think you have has no use, because knowledge is something which you can't learn in your lifetime also, even many lifetimes also. As long as this body exists, you have to keep learning. Learning is a continuous journey. It is to eternity. So knowledge is something nobody can have. The moment you say, I know, knowledge will shut down. Vidya will not come to you. So never say, I know. So when you're being told, why don't you do this? We give reasons. Oh, I can't do this now, but I've already done. In IBM or in wherever you worked in your companies, you will say, oh, I've already done this. I know this. We show that little knowledge we have, that petty knowledge, and we think we have done some great things. And we always love to, go back to our past accolades, the position, the designation, the companies we worked for. We live with that past glories, the little accolades and awards, whatever rewards you might have received. Oh, I've done this. I'm somebody great. No, but that was then and gone. That is dead and gone. Why are you living in the past? Now, do it now for your future. So then immediately, then from when the mother is killing, what happens the next form? The next form, he takes a form of man with a sword. What does that mean? Now, you're being continuously told, when you're pointed out your mistakes. See, you didn't wake up the other day. You have still been sleeping. You have not finished this work. You're being told. When you're being pointed out that you have not done this or something is wrong, you're not doing it. And what happens? That man with a sword comes in you. And then what happens? It means infuriated fight. Now, you get very infuriated. Then you want to fight back. You want to just smite up. Oh, how can you keep saying this? You want to literally fight and tear that person apart. That is the demon that comes in us. And then next, again from that, after that comes what? Elephant. Now, elephant is what? Again, that ego and arrogance comes. What is the ego and arrogance? Okay, then now that you have been told a few times, you're going to show. Oh, now I'm going to wake up and show. You know what? 4:30 alarm, one day you will wake up. And then you'll come and say, see, today I woke up. And what comes in? Arrogance, pride and ego. That one time you'll do and say, look, I did it. Today I woke up. I'm going to show this person. I will show who I am. How can they point out to me? This is what we go through. And then you will wake up that one day. And then you think that, oh, you have done a great job for the rest of the whole time. And then you'll say, okay, now I woke up. Then the pride and arrogance, that is called the elephant. Ego, arrogance and pride. The bloated ego comes in. Again, after a few days, then the last, again, what does happen? Goes back to the original form, buffalo. Again goes into inertia, lethargy, back to square one. Now I can't wake up. I am sleeping. Tamas strikes in. Do you see this pattern in you? This is within us. This is what the demons represent within us. Now, how do you overcome? The goddess was fighting them. Understand, she is inside of us. The Devis and all the weapons that we spoke about are not outside. They are all inside of you. They are within you. You have to unravel them. But who will unravel? You have to bring out that power potencies. The goddess is you. The weapons are within you. Simple. I gave you an example of simple weapon. What is the weapon? The disciplining. How do you discipline yourself? Simple as that, waking up at whatever time. You know what? You have to override your mind. How do you override your mind? If your mind says, I can't do this, you have to do it right at then. That is the weapon. It is not any other weapon. That is called the self-effort. Till you don't use the power, the weapons within you to fight, how will you overcome this demon? You have to fight the demons inside of you. There is no demon outside. You have to kill them within you. And this battle is continuous. And most important, do you know why we do Devi Mahatamyam every year? It's a very interesting thing. Why do we have to do Durga Puja every year? Why do we have to constantly do this? Because once we finish this, oh, it was great 9-day, powerful story. It's not story. It is the truth about your life. We shut down the scripture. We put it back in our library. After that, we don't go back to it at all. So every year it's a reminder to you. Now wake up. Now rise. So you know what? We have to keep it continuous. Every day you have to strive. It is not so easy to destroy these demons. But yes, it is easy provided you take it in you. Yes, I am that great Devi. I have to overcome this and I will fight these demons and rise above. That is called till you do not value yourself, till you do not make yourself stronger enough, you can't rise above. That is what it is. And that effort is in your hands. The gods are not fighting. Please understand, they have given their weapons to the Devi. They are called the power potencies. The power, the energy, everything is inside of you. See, it is not the god and goddesses the way we look at it. It is active and a passive principle. The active principle is representation by the form called Shakti or goddess. Okay, we give her a feminine power. So all the power potency is represented in the feminine aspect of it. When you say Chandika, you know the power, the name itself has power. When you say Bhadra Kali, do you know how much power it is? The word is so powerful. You have to invoke in you the goddess within you. Understand, this Devi is you. There is no Devi outside. It is that divinity which you have to rise, invoke her, bring her out, destroy the demons. Why are you allowing Mahishasura to become the king of the why are you allowing Mahishasura to take the throne? Why are you allowing him to become the Indradev? Don't. So this is the real truth about Devi Mahatamyam. Do you understand? This is the path when we go in the Adhyatmic world. What does the Guru teach us? How to overcome these tendencies. These demons represent the tendencies, the vrittis within us, all the negative qualities within us, demonic disposition. Do you understand? It is called the demons. So they are called the demonic dispositions. And you have to overcome. You have to destroy these tendencies. And please understand, tendencies are two types. One is which comes from your past, the previous lives, from your past births. And the other one is acquired in this life as well. So you have acquired tendencies too. So all these things which is negative in nature has to be destroyed. That is why, please understand, any scripture is always teaching you how to be divine. Why we should be our good self. Destroy that demons within us. It could be petty nature. It could be evil nature. You have to overcome. You have to bring the divinity. How is Ma? She's effulgent. She's great. She's goodness. She's grandeur. She's glory, and you name it. She's so powerful. You have to bring that out. The goodness in you. The love, the knowledge. The ability to say, I can do. See, one more very important thing, most of us, the moment we are told, do something, the first word that comes out of our mouth is, oh, I don't know. How can I do this? And then the fear, oh, I don't know. I've never learned it. Who are you? What is the form you're giving? You're giving the form, the fame, and the victory, which means what? You're empowering that I don't know within you. So you're actually making yourself incapable. But God, the Devi, has all the knowledge. She has all the power, all the weapons. So why are you making yourself incapable? Do not fall prey to that. See, we get so lost in the material world. Understand, none of this is true. Please understand who is this Madhu and Kaitaba. It will never allow you to listen to the voice of God within you, especially your Guru. And I'll tell you one very important lesson. As we evolve on the path of spirituality, these demons rise, You know why? Because they are jealous that they don't want you to attain the divinity. They don't want you to attain God realization, including the gods as well. So they are always going to try to pull you down, try to make you go away from the path. What is the most beautiful lesson here? When you go through this negativity, all these things, you have to first go and surrender to the Guru and the God, asking him to save me. But this is a big challenge that happens because these demons will never allow you to go and ask your Gurudev for help. It will actually keep taking you out of it. That is why 99.99% fall off on the path of spirituality. And this is the danger you need to understand. So you have to make an extra effort to go and seek the help of God. What does Krishna Bhagavan says? Till you don't go and ask him for help, he's not going to help you. You have to ask him, Gurudev, please help me to overcome this. Please help me. I am going through this. Whatever that issue might be. Otherwise, you will fall off the path. You will become demonic in nature. It is very easy to become demonic, but it is very difficult to become the Devi. To understand your own greatness. There is no greatness outside. There is no Devi outside. You are the Devi. You need to understand your greatness. That is why it is Devi Mahatamyam, the glory of the Divine Mother. So you need to know your own greatness. So please never allow these demons to rise. Cut asunder. Always be your good self, full of love, goodness. You know, what is Krishna Guruji teaching? He always teaches how do you live the life. The way of life is what he teaches. You know why? Because please understand, these demons operate within us from head to toe. That is why we have designed a flagship program called the Way of Life, which teaches you how to address every aspect, which is right from your physical, mental, intellectual, vocational, social, financial, environmental, ultimately spiritual well-being. How do you operate in all of these aspects in the most beautiful manner, in the righteous manner, and full of good self? So always have positive thoughts. Do not let any negative thought come in your mind. It is very, very detrimental. Don't ever allow any negative thoughts to come. Do not dwell on those negative thoughts. See, the moment you dwell, the moment you allow Mahishasura take in, what does he say? Tomorrow I will do. Never procrastinate. If you must do it right now, do it. Don't say I am tired. Don't say I cannot do it. I like to give a very simple example, and I will finish this satsang. See, every year the reason I want to give this, I just want to tell you how this journey happens as well. How do you empower? We all go through it. Every year, for doing certain work in our ashram, somebody used to be there to assist. And I've observed myself till I believed, oh, this is not possible by me. I was given a help. And as I was evolving, as I empowered, I felt, oh, I can do this. I am capable. When I kept telling it, and I saw that I was capable to do that. I was able to do this. And this time around, last year, somebody helped clean the gourds. You have to scrub. It's a lot of effort. And this time, I didn't have any help. My Guruji and me, both of us were working together. And, what I did was, I structured in my mind, okay, I can break down the tasks. How do you overcome feeling, overwhelmed, thinking of a task? So you break down the tasks and you plan your day and say, today I will do this much. Tomorrow I will do this part, and day after tomorrow I will do this part. So when I broke down the task, it was much easy. Things worked. What did I empower? That divinity within me. The capability that I can do it. I don't have to depend on anybody. So the only help which was required, God sent me that help. Beyond that, he taught me, my Gurudev taught me that I am capable. So what we have to always say is, you have to show yourself that you are so capable of it. Once my Guruji was telling, what he said, he tells people that the reason is you are not understanding your own capability is because you don't allow that divinity to rise within you, because you always negate. Before even trying, whether you can do it or not, you negate. The moment you put your foot forward and lift your bow and arrow and shoot, lift that weapons to fight the demon, believe me, the divinity rises. So you become capable of doing that task. That is the power. It is absolutely simple, but this simple thing, we do not apply it in our life. So my Guruji said, you have actually not tried. You don't even know your strength and your potentials. You don't even know your capability, how capable you are, because you have not empowered the divinity within you, the goddess within you. So empower this goddess and become that Devi and understand the greatness of who this Devi you truly are. Understand your own Mahatmyam. So with that, we end today's second episode. We have finished chapter 2 and 3. See you all tomorrow. Thank you for joining the Devi Mahatamyam Parayan. Have a good day and good evening to you all. God bless. Once again, wishing you all a very happy Navratri.
Thank you, Raj.